ठीक बात है। तो दरबा साहब, स्वागत है आपका। नमस्कार।
Namaskar, Hari Om.
हरिओम।
In management of life, and generally management is about life, and work is part of the life. And work can be anything what based on our orientation, our training, and our choice, whether it is corporate or business, vritti, and then vyapar. तो predominantly हमारा जीवन जो है वृत्ति व्यापार में लगा रहता है. So if you take any vritti, occupation or preoccupation or action that we choose to spend our life or indulge our life in, or vyapar, whatever we make it our business, so minding our own businesses. So it's not by itself, it is not bad, either vritti or vyapar. But how we, make it makes all the difference. That whatever vritti and then vyapar occupation and then the business that we choose and pursue, what is the nature of that pursuit makes it, we can add this thing, whether it is a daivi kind of or a divine kind of an approach or a pursuit, or asuri yasuhu ramante iti, or a hedonistic or a pleasure seeking kind of a thing. At the end of the day, while we say that a hedonistic is pleasure seeking, but every pursuit is looking for ananda and then sukha and then happiness and joy. Whatever the human effort is there, it is ultimately seeking the joy and enjoyment and happiness. And matra ka difference hai. So if there is a Manushyananda, Daivananda, Rishiyananda, and then Brahmananda, there is Ananda everywhere. And then at a philosophical thing, we are all Ananda Swarupas, and then we are seeking Ananda, and ultimately we have to reach the state of the Ananda. So, but what is the limitations of this? So, some people, if you go with a spoon to the ocean, you will get a spoonful of water. You take a tumbler or you take a bucket or a tanker. So that's how it works. So, what is that? You are approaching this ocean of the bliss or the ananda or the happiness and the joy. And what is the intention with which we are approaching the pursuit of happiness? So that is there, and happiness is only swarga, and pain and then sorrow is only naraka. If you look at it at a tattva kind of a philosophical level. So having said that, I have come across an interesting book by Stephen Covey called The Principle-Centered Leadership, Principle-Centered Living. So that is a very famous book, millions of copies sold and things like that. And then it has influenced a lot of self-help kind of a book for management of work and then the life. And I've also found some interesting insights which are given. And if I have to use it for a management perspective and a practical perspective from the philosophy being propounded here in these 5 shlokas, and whatever has been already deliberated by my previous eminent speakers, if we look at it, either it all boils down to something called what you make the center. So what do you make your center as? That is a choice one has to make. Each one of us are making constantly choices in our lives, and those choices decide our our life choices, and then pursuits, and then approaches, and goals and destinations, and all that जीवन का व्यापार जो भी है, our struggle of life, it's all centered around that center that we make it. For example, he depicts in a circle. Typically, I could have made a slide presentation for a visual appeal, but I'll try and then make it a visual. So it's you take it as a circle, and then in that circle there is a center point, and then what do we make, and what are some of the things which we are our matters of concern in our life. The circle of its influence and circle of concern. That's what he talks about. Anyway, we are talking about a circle, and the man is in the center, and then the choice is in the center. So we are surrounded by several of our desires and expectations from the life. As in our human pursuit in this materialistic, because we are a materialistic body and we are living in a materialistic world. For some time, let us focus, how this works on this plane. And after that, I wish to get into the spiritual and the philosophical plane, which is already covered in a philosophical thing. So at a materialistic plane, if we look at it, self is the most important thing. And after that, my family. In fact, before family, money. After self, money, achievement, and wealth, prosperity, happiness. These are all related to self. And these are the 5 6 things. Then my family is my wife oriented. Wife se pehle a lover or a beloved, somebody whom you like or love and then wanted to make you as a life partner. And so that is another choice. So afterwards, my betiya, and then my children, and then extended family, cousins, parents, and then community, my caste, my country, all that. So the self gets expanded, and then your circle gets expanded. So first, all pursuit is predominantly starting from the self. So if you make self as the center, so these are all, our life is covered with all this money, job, promotion, increment, wealth, house, bungalow, and all that, enjoyments, all are around us. So which one you want to take it? You pick up yourself and then put it in the center. So everything, rest of the things are all, focused from the self. Everything related to self. Agar, love also is related to self. Family is also related to myself, my family. Your money is also self. Job is also how I can grow. And then selfish reasons only, the job also is pursued. Even a social work also is dana dharma karo, yajna karo, tapa karo, kuch bhi karo, it is all related to self, because of my arrogance and then my this thing. That's how it works. So if you keep love as the center, everything becomes related to ye love ke liye kuch bhi karega. And that is what love jihad kind of a things which happen. Jo mera nahi ho paya, kisi ka bhi nahi hone dunga, kind of a arrogant and angry and then frustrated and then terrible and terrifying acts also people indulge. So that can take different shapes, that love. Money, if you keep it in the center, everything around you are all related to money. Even your own family is also related to money. Your friends, your position, your job, everything is money centered. Power, you take it and then keep it in the center, power centered. Whatever you do it for the power. So like that, but he says that once we make a principle and the value and then the principle as our center, so the entire, the other pursuits, all other choices, expectations and pursuits will become principle-centered life. So they're all revolve around the principle. That principle is the dharma. When we are talking about purusharthas and then kama and artha are beautifully kept in the middle, starting with the dharma and then ending final goal with the moksha, and then kama and artha are kept in between, even in that string of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So that is how it is placed also very logically. That is the greatness of our ancestors. So whatever we do, even moksha is also a kama, and then a lot of discussion and debates and arguments have happened. And artha meaning not only is the wealth but also the meaning. The meaning of artha is also the meaning. So that is also there. So whatever pursuits we do, ultimately what decides is what do you make it as your center. So you are a self-centered person or a family-centered person, money-centered person, or power-centered person. Like that, you get branded, and then you get stuck in the self-perpetuating cycle of your own desires. So, kama upabhoga, chinta aparimeyaha. That's what he seems to be saying. In that kind of a thought, unlimited thoughts, and then the tensions, and then the expectations, one of fulfilling the desires, kamopabhoga, chinta aparimaya, pralayantaha, till your end. Pralaya need not be the judgment day in other religions or the apocalypse or the actual pralaya, but the pralaya is the death. Our own death could be a pralaya, end of our life. So till death we keep on pursuing the choices that we make, which we only make. But in reality, if you look at it, another management theory which talks about fulfillment of desires is the Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy. So he says that basically basic needs and security needs, affiliation needs, love needs, and then esteem needs and self-actualization needs. Though it is a wonderful and very influential, very powerful theory which was there last 50, 70 years, but there are some limitations also. Of course, ये लंबा जाएगा. So, but basically what he says that once your basic needs are fulfilled, human tends to move up in the ladder of the needs for fulfillment of higher order desires and then the needs. So that's what is the theory that he proposed. But there is a possibility of vertically traveling in the pyramid towards the self-actualization, or some people travel horizontally also. Some people may get stuck with the basic needs only. जितने भी food मिले, जितना भी shelter मिले, रोटी कपड़ा और मकान, उसको उसका satiate नहीं होता है. Desire doesn't get fulfilled. और चाहिए, and one more bigger bungalow, and then maybe 10 more houses, and more houses in exotic locations and things like that. So that's how horizontally also people get stuck at a esteem level also. And once you become a little more powerful, a designation increase, or an MLA, MP, and then minister, and then prime minister you want to become. So who started as an IAS or an IRS officer with an anti-corruption kind of a thing, what happened and where he landed up, and what is the kind of political pursuit is happening in the desire, how it has a wonderful example is in front of our eyes, which we are seeing these days. We know whom we are talking about. That is a beautiful example of a pursuit of an asuri pravrutti, how people get to do asha apasha satair baddhaha. So that is the desire and then the greed. Shatai ka matlab either unlimited, also sahasra and shata is also rhetorically, metaphorically used as ananta. And it is endless desires of greed. People seems to be get stuck. So these are two things which he talks about. And second thing is hedonistic pleasures. And right now, I mean, Mehi Bhagavan hu, and there is no Sarka Moksha, there is no Bhagavan, there is no other reincarnation, and then the life. And today is the thing, Runam Krutva Grutam Pribet, that is the Charvaka philosophy. And Enakena Upayana, whatever it takes, we do it, and then we enjoy right now here. They say right now, but actually if you look at it, there is nothing like right now. तो बीते हुए कल और आने वाला कल के बीच में वर्तमान है. That's what we believe about the kala swarupa, or the property of the time is the past and then the future and then the present, which we talk about. But actually, if you look at it at a quantum level and at a philosophical level, there is nothing like present. In the larger scheme of constantly fleeting time, because you cannot bathe in the same river twice. That's what it is said. So it is constantly fleeting and then it is going. So there is nothing like ek kshan beet ja raha hai, and then we cannot go. So in that sense there is no present. So there is no concept of living in the present, because everything is fleeting and then changing constantly. So actually there is nothing like present to enjoy. Aaj abhi enjoy karenge aur kal ka kisko pata, but that is also wrong, because then it is enough to enjoy Vartaman, because in the larger scheme of time, what is the lifespan of 70, 80 years that one lives, and in that healthy enjoyment life is only around the 10, 15 years. Within the 10, 15 years, कितना खर्च करोगे, क्या करोगे for your own enjoyment? फिर भी इतना क्यों कमा रहे हैं और इतना भागम दौड़, इतना फाइटिंग और इतना अन्याय व्यापार क्यों कर रहे हैं? And what is 1,000 crores, that 1 lakh crores, and then Ghotala, wo, and all. Why do we do that? And at the end of the day, nobody is taking anything with him or with her. Everything is leaving for the either your own family or somebody else completely unaware of you is coming and enjoying it at the end of the day. Either some Waqf board will acquire, or some other neighbor will acquire by force, or this thing, or your own people are acquiring and then they are ignoring and then they are taking it away and then enjoying it. तो दिस इज हमारे सामने हम देख रहे हैं. ये सब जानते हुए भी इसमें क्यों, ये जाल में क्यों फंसे हुए हैं? That's what Bhagavan seems to be giving us and making us realize. And in the process of where we becoming ignorant and then deluded, ajnana vimohitaha and chitta vibhrantaha, we are getting deluded and mohajala samavrutaha. We are extremely getting stuck in the jal of the moha, and then we are getting entangled in the delusion, deluded world, and ultimately what are we become? Patanti naraka suchaha. And it is the extremely terrible and then dirty hellholes we are falling into. That may not be somewhere on the up or down hell, but whatever is happening, the joylessness, the happinesslessness, kind of a dukkha, jo pain, sorrowful state, or a frustrated state. Okay, what happens? Let us examine. If you acquire, you are getting arrogant, and then pride and arrogant, that is consuming you. Like Madam was saying, actually, who is consuming whom? We keep saying corporate world. Actually, it is consumer kind of a world. We are living in a consumer kind of a world. And what is the purpose and use of the money and wealth also? Because what is the purpose and use of money? It has to be spent. Only when you spend you get to enjoy. But whether you spend now and then enjoy, or you keep it for some other day to spend in some other manner to enjoy. So that is the actually the reason for the money, or the utility of the money, or the wealth that you acquire. Either you spend and you enjoy, or some other deserving person will come or usurp it and then steal it from you, or inherit from you, and then they enjoy. So it is a choice that one has to make, whether how you want to enjoy, whether dharmic paddhati mein enjoy karna chahte ho. But for that one is to have the knowledge of the dharma. And once you make the principle and the dharma as your center, whatever choices that you make will all be dharmic, and still you can enjoy the life you can acquire. There's nothing wrong in acquiring all these kind of materialistic benefits. Have a house, nice house, have one wife, have nice children, have a nice property, and then wonderful things, AC, all that, these are at home, and enjoy comfort. But at the same time, you can have a dharmic way of life also, in a decent life and a frugal life, to your need and then they want, and not for the greed. So that's what it seems to be saying. And once we take it in this perspective, the Janta can understand it better, and then they utilize the purpose philosophy behind the meaning. Actually, if you look at it, as I was saying, that there's nothing like present, because it is constantly fleeting. Even the quantum view of the Jagat, or the world, is fleeting, and then it is in the eye of the observers. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Midhya. Jagat is itself is a Midhya Jagat. That we are, the philosophy is saying that whether you like it or not, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Midhya ka matlab shunya nahi hai. So it's not that it is non-existent, it's not saying, it is an illusion, that's what it is saying. That illusion is caused because of the ignorance and then avidya. And once you are devoid of that avidya and ignorance, once the jnana prapti jab ho jata hai, so then you know that these are all very temporary things, and these are not what is permanent. Satyam is satyam, jnanam and anantam, or sat, chit, and then the ananda. That is the swarupa of ours, which is the consciousness, and that is the consciousness which should become the center. And that whether of God bolo or jo bhi whichever God bolo, ya consciousness bolo, Paramatma bolo, Atma bolo, and once we make that as our center, and that center decides the choices that we make, is the point that I wanted to highlight today in a practical management perspective, with relevance to these 5 shlokas. And if there is time, since 3 of us, a little more focus on the second round. Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah.